racial identity and things like your professional identity, and those things really make up your mental narrative, and as a result, your self-confidence and your mental health. So the reason why I say this is because, a lot of my followers are, Asian American, Korean, half Asian, or multiracial, multi-ethnic. And, I see a lot of peers and friends who suffer through kind of the same things that I did, like identity crisis. For me, I call myself Korean American, but I've always kind of felt insecure about not being American enough, or sometimes some Korean people think that I'm not Korean enough. Some Korean Americans think that I'm not Korean American enough. It's a disaster. So I'm getting old as shit now, and I'm finally starting to realize that all of that is BS. Like, you gotta do you. You are you. It doesn't matter. Some people will try to put you into a box, right? I had an ex-Korean girlfriend. She was the worst. She tried to put me in this, like, oh, a Korean man should be like this. Why aren't you like this? I'm like, fuck you. Who the hell are you? Like, I don't fit into that box. You don't have to fit into a box. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think it must be very confusing for especially like half Asians and like quarter, like multi-ethnic friends, because, you want to be proud of your identity. You want to be proud of yourself. But you look at like the COVID pandemic and how people are doing all these anti-Asian things. And like, how can you be confident? How do you differentiate between what to be confident about and how to balance all that? It's a very hard issue. And a lot of people have written books about it. There's a very famous book written by this multi-ethnic professor. I think his last name is very long. Shigematsu, I think. Anyways, that was a very good book. But what I'm trying to say in this video, and this is going to be a very, very long topic if I try to expound on it, but we have to be proud of ourselves in order to protect our mental health. If we let other people tell us that we're not good enough because we are not X enough, we are not what enough, it doesn't make any sense, and it's their narrative. And one of the other things that I mentioned in my book is that you're always influenced by society and the thinking of the people around you. So if you keep being exposed to that kind of harmful environment where they keep telling you you're not good enough, you have to fit this box, you are going to be affected by that, and often negatively. So you have to be around other people who are tolerant, who are open-minded. That's why I don't like hanging out with a lot of conservative Koreans. That's why I don't like hanging out with a lot of conservative Americans. That's why I don't like hanging out with a lot of conservative Korean Americans. I just don't like hanging out with conservative people, all right? It's just that it's the 21st century, man. It's 2021. You can be Korean American, whatever. You can be Filipino quarter, French quarter American. It doesn't matter. It's only conservative, limited mind people who can't fathom what a multi-ethnic identity looks like, what a Filipino person living in Spain looks like, what a Mexican person living in Canada looks like and acts like. What is that supposed to be? You create that. It's not, some people might have a stereotype. Some people might say, oh, you're a Korean American, so you don't speak Korean very well, whatever, fuck you. That's your narrative. My narrative is that it's amazing to be multi-ethnic. It's amazing to be multicultural. And so don't let anybody tell you that that's not true. And other people will try to tell you that, especially if they're conservative, if they have a narrow mindset, and if they have an inferiority complex about not being multi-ethnic enough, multicultural enough, they will come after you. I've had a lot of people like that because they're not confident in their own self. They try to come after and tell you there's something wrong with you. I don't, I try to avoid that, but nowadays I just fight it like head on. Like, that's picking a fight with me. You're trying to mess with my head, and you can't let that to happen to you. So this is getting long already, but what I'm trying to say is that you should be proud of your multi-ethnic identity, whatever you are, Korean American, Chinese American, French, Mexican, I don't know what you are, Mexican American, but there's a lot of ways that could go wrong. Like, as an Asian American, you could possibly not be very proud of the Asian side. Or as a Mexican American, you could not be proud of the American side. I don't know. It could work a lot of different ways. But at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, like, what do you see? So that's your choice to be proud of certain aspects of yourself. I'm not telling you, oh, being Asian is the best thing in the world. That's that's going too extreme. I'm just saying you should be proud. There are a lot of other ethnicities out there, races out there. I'm not saying that being Asian is the only way. Some people say that. That's like the craziest thing I've ever heard. There are white people and black people and all kinds of Native Americans. So what I'm trying to say is that you should be proud of who you are and what you are. And don't let anybody tell you other things. And they do tell you other things. But that's their narrative. So I kept saying that about how to protect your mental narrative. And I just feel like it's important to mention that again today with all this anti-Asian hate crimes going around. Hey, I'm still proud of being Asian American. So, this will pass too. So, thanks guys. Bye.